Hi there, my name is Kendrick, and today I get to interview Sohyb. Sohyb, welcome, man.
Hi, thanks for having me. Very happy to be here.
Can you tell us your full type, please?
I am an INTJ, NIFI, sleep less, play, consume less, audio.
Sweet. All right, so you're the same type as Dave. You're like
Yeah,
you're like the Egyptian Dave superpowers.
you're
uh,
not the first person to say that. Yeah,
yeah. Um,
yeah.
what did you think and how did you feel when you got your typing results back?
Okay, so I got my type in late December 2022 last year, and I had known about ops and been following it for about 10 months, 11 months before that. And I basically, as soon as I got into ops and I didn't know anything about the animals, modalities, parts, whatever, I was like, but this is Dave guy. I kind of like him, and I think we're pretty similar, right? So I think I might be the same type as him, right? Just straight away, I didn't know anything about any parts, introvert, extrovert, anything. And then I thought that for a good amount, and then I thought I might be double masculine towards like getting typed for the few months before that. So when I got my type back, I was like, I was really not super. I mean, I got myself right, right? So and wasn't surprising. I did think I was little masculine though, seeing a lot of. I thought I had feminine FI, but besides that, um, I was like, yes, I was right, and everyone was holding me, nah, you're seeing yourself upside down. I guess in their face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well, someone has to get it right. So that was you.
yeah.
All right, then. Let's go over your parts. Your first animal is NF sleep. That's gonna be your kind of like your default, but it's not your abuse one. So we'll talk about that in a second. How do you
Mhm.
experience that NF sleep of yours?
Well, I mean, there's a lot. So since I've known my type for a very long time, practically, it's been like over a year and a half now. I kind of there's a lot to it, right? So NF sleep, I'm very motivated by abstract things. So it might be, you know, fictional stories, anime, manga, religion, or just things like that. I love things that are fictional, and then things that are also like, yeah, I love like emotionally hard stuff. You know what I mean? Like masculine FI. It's like the hardcore motivation. It's like you're a pussy or whatever. Like you gotta get up, do the work. Like that kind of category of stuff. So I love that kind of thing. And NF, I mean, it's the moral code stuff as well. I've always had a very strong moral code that doesn't really change. And the sleep, it's like I I have that same little box, and I keep going over it over and over again. And like in the sensory for me, it's like specifically it's like Instagram. I have like reels saved into like collections, which I just found out you can do. I didn't know you can do that. But anyway, I have like collections on Instagram saved for like I literally have the category motivation dash NF, and it's like everything that fits into that category, I put it there, and then I'll go over it over whenever I'm bored or whenever I need inspiration or something to like get to work or whatever. So that's what NIFI is like. And then I also repeat myself a lot and talk about the same stuff and all that.
Right. Um. So part of NF sleep is like knowing the vibe of the tribe. So I think I remember Dave saying that he doesn't care about how other people feel unless he cares about them already. So if he cares about them, then he is quite sensitive to the emotion. And she said that when him and Shan like they have some kind of conflict with each other, he'll try to resolve it emotionally first before they do like the TE work, right? So do you see
Yeah.
yourself doing that too? Like where like for the people that you care about, that you can feel the vibe of like the NF energy, and then if there's something wrong, then you do try to like talk it out first and stuff. Like how do you personally like how does that work for you?
Yeah, absolutely. That will be the case. And it's like, dude, okay. So, there's a problem in the friend group, whether it's between me and someone else or two other guys or whatever. And it's like, okay, guys, let's resolve it emotionally first. Let's understand, and I understand that neither of us are out to get the other. We all want the best for each other. We all care about each other, yada yada yada. And then we we can TE fix the problem together. You know what I mean? It's like, but let's understand each other. Let's also double decide, understand each other's point of view first, and then we can like get. But like the emotions, that's for like the people I care about, which is like there's not that many of them. But like others, it's like if I'm in a if I'm outside with a lot of people that aren't close to me, and there's like a large number of them, I'm not tracking the vibe of like, it's like it's not FE. I can only track it in like limited amounts with like limited numbers of people and like specific people that I already care about. But like, yeah, emotionally first, let's get emotionally like, settled. It's okay, and then we'll, talk it out, whatever. So, yeah.
So because you like live like all over the place, before, so for the context for the people watching this, so Hype told me that he's lived like around the world pretty much. He's lived in Australia, Saudi Arabia, Dubai, I think you said also. And
No, it's just those two.
also, okay, sorry, I got that sensory wrong. But like
Yeah.
so you live in like, like a westernized country, Australia, but you've also lived in like a Middle Eastern country, which is Saudi Arabia, and now you're in Egypt, which is like
Mhm.
Northern Africa. How do you
Mhm.
how does your NF kind of like get updated when you were like going to all those different places? Because like there's no way, because like I've been to like 2 of the 3 countries that you mentioned, but like there's no way you would be the same person after you transplant yourself to those 3 different places. You must have absorbed like some of those NF like values from each places and like taking them into you, because like I'm talking to you right now, you're pretty westernized, so you're not like the traditional Egyptian guy, because you obviously went to Australia. So so what
Yeah.
yeah, so how did that update your identity with your NF sleep?
So when I went to Australia, I didn't say this earlier, but I was actually really young. I was 5, and then I stayed there for 2 years, right?
Right.
So it's not that when I was there, my identity was changed, and like that's not what affected me. It's like the starting point was different, so the direction I went in was different. I'm more westernized, not because of the 2 years I spent there when I was 5, 6, 7. I'm more westernized because of after that I spent all my time online, speaking English, writing, reading English, talking to people in English, things like this. Watching things in English. I don't consume anything in Arabic pretty much. It's all in English. That was the starting point that pointed me in that direction. And then when I was 7, I came back to Egypt for a year. Then I was 8, I went to Saudi Arabia for 2 years. And Saudi Arabia, I didn't fit it at all. I had no friends for like the entire time. And I also spent all my time online. And
Right.
then, oh man, yeah. So my values though, on the NF side, my values have been instilled by my parents and then by myself when I grew up. So it wasn't really didn't really have to do with society. It's like my values are like mostly different to like where I am right now in Egypt, and I've been here for the past 10, 11 years.
Right.
But it's still like on its complete different wave. Like I don't care what other people value or don't value, what their morals. I don't care. I have
Right.
my own, and for me, they stem from religion as well. So it's like
Yeah.
doesn't have to do with anything, right? So
Oh, that's cool, man. Funny
yeah.
enough, your story sounds exactly like one of your type twins. I don't know if Dave and if OPS gave you like a list of type twins, but like one of your type twins is Jack Ma, the billionaire guy.
Oh, Chinese guy. Yeah,
Exactly the same type as you: sleep, blast, play, consume, MF,
I know, I
jumper,
know.
jumper. Yeah, and then he had the same story where like when he was younger, he was also like speaking English a lot, talking to tourists a lot in English. Everything was in English, kind of like you. Exact same story, man. You did the exact same thing. And
That's like, yeah,
so I
that's
wouldn't
one
be
of the type
surprised.
twins.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to become a billionaire one day, man. So, uh,
Maybe. I don't. Yeah, I'll think about it.
yeah. um, but yeah, that's super cool though. That you had that trajectory, because obviously it's good. Which leads me to the next question. NT Blast. This is your
Oh
most
yeah.
abused. This is your most abused animal, but it's double feminine. So it's NT Blast, but it's double
Oh
feminine.
yeah.
What's going on there? How do you experience that? And how does double feminine like affect like your blast?
Um. Well, I'll give a sensory example. It's like me and my friends, like they started this company that's like we're a startup. We're trying to teach kids how to code and stuff. So it's like I went there like 2 times and I was teaching them, even though that's not really my role, but I went and did it for that time because they needed someone or whatever. And I found that the kids love when I explain things because like my priority, my FI priority when I'm blasting to someone is how do I make them understand it in the most like fluid way possible, get the exact correct concept into their brain and have them really understand it and have it stick as well. So I'll give them, so what I do is like I'll give them the concept in a very understandable way, like even kids will get it, and then I'll give them like an SE example, So it's
Yeah.
this, and here's an example of it, and then like boom, like they get it. And that's how I learn as well, right? But I also learn by doing. But like Blast, yeah, I always I don't know if it's like the feminine NT being like really activated and high and stuff, but I've always had a very easy time understanding concepts. Even when learning, like in school, I was like, I'll learn a new math concept or physics concept or whatever. And I'm like, oh, it's kind of like this. And then like, boom, I got it.
Yeah,
It's not, I'm not taking it, I'm just connecting it like someone else, something else that I already know and understand. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's like, oh, and then when I'm with the NT, it's like I don't really care except that I only care enough about like understanding in order to go use it. Go NT, go make something with it, go
yeah.
produce something with it. So it's like as long as I have that, I can run away and then I can, make something with the whatever I learned or whatever.
So you mentioned earlier when you're explaining stuff to kids that you'll throw in a sensory or two. You have ST play. It's activated. It's third, so it's still a demon, but it's activated.
Yeah.
When does your ST play kick in? And like how do you personally experience that ST play? Like what's kind of like back and forth, interaction do you like with the tribe essentially?
I don't really. I mean, yeah, I guess with the TE, I do love talking about work, each other's work. I'm working on this, you're working on that. Oh, you're doing it this way, I'm doing it that way, yada yada yada. And then I also like to, show people examples of my work. I'd love for them to show me examples of what they've made, their work, yada yada. So I guess that would be in that category. Besides that, I haven't really thought about it that much, to be honest. I've thought about my NF, like my sleep and my blast and my consume last a lot. I thought about that a lot.
Yeah,
But I haven't really thought about the play aspect because it's like, oh, I'm play third, I have it. It's like whatever, not a big problem. For my FI, it's like there's priorities. The biggest problem is the consume,
right.
and then like the blast and the sleep and like play is like, it's kind of there. I can do it, so didn't really think about it that much. But yeah, it's like sharing work with each other and sharing how we do things and sharing examples of work or just yeah, I think that's pretty much it. It's pretty boring.
So what happens to you like based on your
Wait, I want to say something.
go ahead.
Also, I share sensory tools. Like I'll just take shit. I don't care. It's like give me that. I'll give you this. Give me that. I just share the sensory and the like thinking and the tools. The thinking aspect of it. It's like, oh, we'll just share it. You use my thing. I use your thing. You don't even need to tell me. Just that kind of thing. So
I like that. That was still like an NT blast that you just said. But
listen, man, it's the
it's all good,
only
man.
language I know, right?
It's all good, dude. That's why it's abuse, right?
Mm.
um, but anyways, my next question is actually interesting though. It's so your first animal sleep, so you're like super introverted, and then blast play kicks in, and then you're super cranked
Yeah.
up, like hyper. Can you talk about like how like what does it look like on a daily basis when you start off like super introverted and you go crazy blast play cranked up, you know?
It really depends on the day because most days right now I'm on my own because I just finished college, right? So and my college was in like in another city, like 3 hours away, and then I had my friends who were also from this city, and we used to travel back and forth for graduation projects, whatever. So uh, in those days, I would see it like I am like very, I can just go forever, if I need to. Especially if I know that I'm gonna have to go, then I can just go the whole day. I can go for like 15 hours, moving from this place, that place, and then at the end of the day, I might have like the most energy out of the group, even though like they're extroverted, whatever. But I can still have like the sleep. I've already pre-processed that I'm gonna have to do this, and then there's nothing left besides blast and play. You know,
Right.
there's no crash. I only have it's only up. It's like starts it just only goes up. It's like a rocket ship, as David Chan say.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm very extroverted and I am extremely productive in like select areas. And I'm always I should have said this for the blast, but I'll say it for the consumer thing. Okay, so yeah, I'm extremely productive in like very select areas in life, and I'm always making stuff as well. And I don't really have energy problems. I guess it's also because I'm balanced on sleep and play, but like, energy management and then expenditure, it's very easy to manage for me.
In a way, the way your animal is stacked, I think it's like in a way it's kind of good because like the sleep helps you prioritize like the most important thing to do, and then you use the blast play to go crazy to like execute on the most important thing. So it's really good, right? But
Yeah,
with that being said, I want to switch to the last animal now.
Mhm.
So even though you're prioritizing the right thing and you're executing on the right thing,
Mhm.
what tidal wave are you gonna get because the consumer is on the lacking side, like what and you personally, like, do you have any stories where like, oh my god, I've
Yeah.
prioritized it, I've attacked it, and then oh my god, did I miss this missing information? Like what the hell? So like what's how did you personally experience that? Like, do you have any examples?
Yeah, yeah, I have quite a bit of examples. I'll try to give some sensory examples this
Okay.
time.
All right, let's see.
Um, but it's like I'll say the category first. So okay. So anything that has to do with like health and wellness, that is like, yeah, besides the gym, because I love lifting and stuff, but like skincare, like face, like hair, hair, big thing with Dave, right? And just like literally, it's like consume less. It's like, so you know how in okay, analogy incoming, but you know how in video games they have like third person.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm trying to imagine myself in third person to see what I look like, and I can't do it. It's like I can see the environment to an extent, and then like myself in that image, it's like grayed out. It's like blurred. Like, I have no idea what I look like. And this took me like a year and a half to even get to this point that I even like kind of really understand this problem. And I'm still trying to get better at it. But I'll give sensory example. It's like yeah, even when I was like 16, 17, I had this, I don't even know what it was, but it's like this skin like disease like on my entire body. It wasn't that severe, but like a lot of itching, a lot of I don't even know what it was. But then I was just ignoring it. And I guess it's like because in my brain I just have to go. I have to go, 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 go. I don't care about like, oh, I have to, I'm very unhealthy and the itching and like I look ridiculous. And so it's like it didn't get resolved until like my parents, especially my mom, she you know came in and solved it herself. Like, oh, we're gonna take you to a doctor, go to this, go to do that, and that kind of thing. Even right now, I have like this spot on my back and one on my chest, and like I have no idea what it is, and I need to go to the doctor, but I've been putting it off for like the past 6 months because I don't have any time, and also I hate spending money. So unless it's like necessary, then I'm okay. Uh, but like yeah, things like that. And growing up, I hated buying clothes. I would have to be they would have to force me to go buy clothes or get a haircut or that kind of thing. This is like I'm nearly 22 and this is like the first time I buy wireless earphones, or like I only bought my first pair of sunglasses like 6 months ago. I still haven't learned how to drive a car or even tried it at all. It's just I'm so behind. My phone is always like many years behind that of my friends, that kind of thing, right? So I'm
Right.
always behind on the sensory and on like the value. It's like pretty bad. I used to only wear black. When I was forced to go buy clothes, I would only buy black clothes.
Yeah.
And then no sensory, just black. So those are some examples. Yeah. And then the information. Should I get into information aspect of it as well?
The what?
The information, like taking in information.
Oh yeah, yeah. Go ahead, man. Yeah, talk about the taking in the
Okay.
information.
So taking in learning now. So I've been teaching myself for the past 2 years or so how to make websites, right? And so like develop websites, not design, develop. But like for the past few months or so, I've taught myself how to design as well, so I can just make my own design. And the reason I did that is because going through the sensory of like all these designs on the internet and like, oh, is this one good? This do I like this one? Do I like that one? Do I like is this one better than this one? So I can pick one to actually make it is like painful to me. It's like because you got to make sure it looks good, the color scheme is good, and then you got to make sure that it's actually designed for all the different screen sizes as well. So it's like a lot of sensory to sift through, and like um, so I just make my own design now. I'd rather just make my own. I just make my own design, then I'll make it into a website. So I'm like double blasting. You know what I mean? But at the same time, and when I do learn a skill, it's always through doing. Like, oh, I take the minimal amount of information I need to get started. And like, okay, done. Let me go get started on making a prototype. Then I make one, two, three. Then I get to 10. And then through that process, I learn by making mistakes. So, and then I actually get pretty good at it. And then so now I'm like trying. Okay, you don't have to be a super consume guy, but just read a little bit more. Instead of 1% reading, do like 5%, and that saves me a lot of time sticking to the mistakes that I'm making to get better. saves me a lot of time on this side. So I'll put a little bit here on the consume, and it saves me a lot of time on the blast. That's what I found recently as well.
You probably just like have to learn the hard way, kind of like to consume less. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
all right, dude. So your audio kinesthetic. I want to talk to you about the kinesthetic and the double masculine SF. Okay, so your double masculine SF consume, but and your kinesthetic. So I know you like to lift weights and stuff. Can you talk about like the interest in like the physical movement and stuff, and building muscle, and at the same time also like the image that you're trying to portray with that because consume is external self-awareness, right? It's kind of like seeing yourself in the mirror. That's why when we started the interview, you were looking at the video, you're like, shit, I'm gonna get this red shirt, so like, can you talk about that a bit, like why you want to build muscles and like the enjoyment of like the heavy things because of kinesthetic, but also because of how you want to see yourself externally.
Yeah, so that's exactly why I started lifting to begin with. It was before I knew about ops as well. So I'm pretty proud that I saw that on my own at like 19. I don't know how I did it, but like I knew like, dude, there's something wrong here. So that's why I started lifting. I was like, okay. So I, took my, made my own decision on my own. Okay, I'm gonna start going to the gym, and then I just went, and it's been 2.5 years or a bit more, and I just, I've never stopped or anything. So the question was, what was the question exactly? Oh, like kinesthetic. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So the kinesthetic aspect of it. Yeah. So the masculine SE, it's very competitive. It's very shovey. I like, I don't actually do it that often, but like I do like the feeling of like shoving my friends, or like when I get mad, I'm like, smash my desk or something, or this bed has gotten many beatings from me in the past. So um so the comparison, it's like, oh, I have the biggest muscles, oh, I'm bigger than you, I'm stronger than you. It's like I want to be super strong and super big and like super everything. um and then the masculine SF is great. I love it. It's like gritty, it's like hardcore, it's like dark, it's like it's trying to hurt you. That's like pretty much everything I consume as well. It's like for entertainment purposes. It's like I don't really consume it, but like UFC, MMA, that kind of stuff. I don't really consume it because I don't have time. But like I'll watch reels on Instagram, and I'm like, oh, dude, like Conor McGregor, Habib, or those guys, and they're like fighting and like this, and like when the fight gets like really bloody and there's like blood everywhere, that kind of stuff. Or like hardcore fictional stuff like Berserk. That's a manga. It's very gritty, like limbs getting torn off, guts splattered everywhere, that kind of stuff, right? But also, it has to be like have an very good NF meaning and story behind it as well, right? It can't just be the SF. I'm not, those guys that watch like ISIS videos of like that kind of stuff. So I don't do that. So because it's like, why would I? It doesn't inspire me or anything. But yeah, um, gritty, hardcore, dark, aggressive. Even though I'm a very friendly guy generally, but I'm very smiley, but at the same, I'm very feminine DE, but at the same time, it's like, oh, I have this, but I let it out a lot. So I feel like I have a healthy thing going on. That's pretty balanced. Sometimes I just like tape a pillow to the wall and just start punching it, just to get it out, or like do push-ups or besides the gym and stuff. So yeah, I think I have a pretty healthy outlet on it right now. So it's not really causing any issues. So,
It's kind of interesting how you describe your masculine extrovert sensing also, because from the kinesthetic side, like you want to punch things. Because I'm like, I'm the same as you. I have sensory at the bottom, but it's SI, but it's masculine. So it seems like for extrovert sensing, you're like more like a striker, while like people with introvert sensing is more like a grappler. So I think Khabib is probably like an ISTJ, if I had to guess. He seems like he's
like
SI. Yeah, probably SIFI.
Mm.
I think he's probably consumed last also, if I had to guess. But like,
Oh, really?
yeah, I think so. Maybe he sleep blast play consume also, but like something like that. Maybe, I don't know. I haven't like taken the time to fully type him, but like, he's like the master of grappling, right? And then so like when you're talking about like just like hitting stuff like a pillow or whatever, when I think of like attacking something or someone, I think about like doing a chokehold on them, because it's like SI is like controlling them, right?
Oh,
So I don't imagine like
Mm,
smashing. I think about like choking, like, you know. So it's a
mm.
little bit different. It's still they're both aggressive, but in completely different ways. So that kind of
I've never really thought of choking. No, I've
yeah.
never thought. It's
Yeah,
always,
but
like,
yeah, I think about like chokeholds, like literally like doing a chokehold in
mm,
someone, and then
mm.
like that's how I picture it. I don't picture like beating the shit out of someone. Like I think that's like an SE
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, for
maybe
me it's like yeah, maybe
more
you'll get.
explosive.
But like if you watch MMA, like the grappler usually beats the striker, right? It's like unless you get a
Yeah.
lucky hit, in the chin.
Mm,
If you don't get a lucky hit, you're
mm.
done because then your sensory has been controlled now, and now you can't move, right? And the person's gonna choke you out.
Yeah,
So
you're gonna get. Oh yeah, that's a good point. It's controlling plus sensory. Like you're choking someone, you're controlling them.
yeah,
So it's like
exactly. Yeah, because
this
it's
is all
SI. Yeah, it's like for you
yeah.
and right.
It's all feminine NT
Yeah, yeah,
putting things together to make it make sense. But yeah, it does
yeah,
make sense. Like SI, I'm controlling you, that's still SI. Yeah, that's pretty. I
yeah,
never
yeah,
thought of that.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's why that's how you could, I guess you could tell. Okay, cool, man.
Mm,
I want to so let's go back to your SF consume again because there's like different dimensions to it
mm.
that I want to ask you about.
There's more.
So what
Yeah.
about like so it's double masculine and you said that you have an outlet
Mm,
for it. So I guess that's lifting weights then and watching those violent
mhm.
stuff. That's how you get like the pet of aggression because double masculine SF
Yeah.
consume is super aggressive. Like it's like 50 Cent, right? Like the rapper, like he's super aggressive, right? So and like Kobe Bryant, right? So um do you besides do you play any like contact sports or anything to like to further get an outlet for that or not really?
Know what I want to at some point when I get my financial situation sorted out. I'm probably gonna do that. It's also a mental thing. It's like you harden, like David Goggins, you callous your mind by
Yeah,
doing hard things. Violence is a hard thing.
yeah,
Yeah, so I do want to get into like contact sport. I'm considered wrestling or boxing or like kickboxing because I get to use my legs as well, and I have really long legs.
yeah.
So that would be smart, I guess. So one of those three probably wrestling or maybe both or two or three, something like that.
Yeah, dude, and you can peacock to the max, man. After you're like, see how
Yeah,
good I am in the sensory thing. See how good. um
that's my whole life mission right now is to like how do I look like the opposite of my type as much as I possibly can. Like it's like Dave says, I want to be mistaken for like an ESTP. I don't want to be an NIFI. Like what the hell's up with that? That's boring. That's
it's so
lame.
funny.
That's not cool.
But hey, dude,
Yeah,
you can definitely do
that's
it.
that's my plan.
No, because what the best welterweight MMA fighter of all time is an INFJ, right? It's George St. Pierre. So they typed him as an INFJ.
He's an INFJ?
Yeah, he's an INFJ. Yeah, so
What?
he's super
I didn't know
athletic,
that.
he's super fit, but he can beat everyone because he has an NI and he can like plan several steps ahead. He thinks of it like chess when he's doing the MMA battle. So yeah, and
Ah.
then he's so cool because he might be consumed last also because I noticed when I was watching his interviews, he'll like hire people to do consume for him. So he'll just like outsource it and then they'll use the play for him to absorb it, right? And like he'll talk about like,
Mm.
oh yeah, this MMA fighter has the slowest recovery rate after what's the word I'm looking for? When if someone tries to punch you and you're like you kind of flinch, you know?
Yeah. I know what that is. What's
Yeah.
the word for that? I can't remember.
Um, but anyways, like it's like nervous
Yeah.
system related apparently, and apparently some people have like very poor recovery rate for that. Where like they might be fast at dodging the punch, but over time, if you keep doing it to them, they'll fatigue really quickly, and then their nervous system just can't pick it up anymore. Because he was talking about like I don't know if you heard of BJ Penn. He's one of the lightweight fighter a long time ago. And he's considered to be like one of the best lightweight fighter before Khabib came in, obviously. And then he was the fastest dodger in MMA. Like he can dodge like the punches, the fastest. But he also had one of the highest fatigue rate. That's why GSP beat him during their fight because he just kept tricking him, right? Keep making him flinch.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
that's
they would do like a slow motion recording of the video to see what would happen, and then so he's using his like freaking NI and like planning every single like steps on the fight and look at the weakness of the enemy like with like pure
Mm,
dissection, right? Like with the NT, right? He has NT sleep, right? So
mm.
that means
Wow.
that means you could do it and you would have an advantage, because like a lead NI person's done it before, so.
Yeah, dude, I never knew like I knew about George St. Pierre. I didn't know they typed him, and I didn't know he was an INFJ. So like, wow, that's like, missing information. You did not know that. And then like the nervous system stuff. Like I'm
Yeah.
actually learning. I'm actually taking in what you're saying. Because it's like kind of related to things I'm interested in. So it's like I'm actually gonna take it. So
Yeah, it's in your NI box, right? So
a
well, I mean,
little bit. Yeah, yeah,
well, like the greatest tennis player of all time, he's Serbian and he's an INFJ
yeah.
also. So dude,
That's
you can totally be in sports.
Novak. Is
Yeah,
it
yeah.
Novak?
Jo-
Yeah,
Djokovic or something.
yeah,
Novak
yeah, I
Djokovic.
know about him. Yeah. I know
Yeah, yeah.
about a lot of my like I know a lot of like celebrities. I've been like in the database, but I didn't know. That's why I'm surprised because I've been in the database for so long looking at types, but I didn't know about like Saint Pierre. So that's why I'm like, whoa.
Well, even Andrew Tate, he was a kickboxer before he
Mm,
became like the online like guru cult leader type,
yeah,
right? So and
yeah,
then
yeah.
I actually noticed when I'm talking to you, you kind of talk like Andrew Tate. You talk more like Andrew Tate than Dave Superpowers, you know?
I do listen to him quite a bit because it's like for motivation stuff. It's like he's very the anger. It's like, oh, you need to, whatever. It's like that
But
voice,
you
So
don't
maybe
have
that's
you
the
don't have the
audio in there.
anger. You don't have the anger. You're more
I
friendly. You're more
Yeah,
friendly.
I am more
Yeah.
friendly. I am more
But the
friendly.
way you talk is like him. I don't know how to describe it. Minus the aggression. Same
Yeah,
delivery,
yeah, yeah,
minus the aggression. So
yeah, yeah. Probably because I've heard a lot of him, and then also because, yeah, that's pretty much it. I think that happens with anyone I hear a lot of or spend a lot of time with. Sometimes I'll pick up it's like the audio. I'll pick up the audio isms of them and like say things in similar ways to them. I can kind of do that with like my friends as well. It's like I'll mimic how they speak a little bit. You know what I mean? But it's like it's not something I've put any time to. It just happens. I think. So,
it's like a passive consume, right? With the SE at the bottom.
passive. I was thinking of that. How did you know? Anyway, so yeah, I was literally thinking it's kind of like passive consumer. Then you said it.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. We're on some like intuitive wavelength.
Well,
Fine,
we're
fine.
both ends, so yeah, we're taking the same thing. Yeah, I talk to my girlfriend a lot, and she's like an INTJ also, right? So, she's
Yeah.
also been type, except she's like sleep consume play blast, and then she's always singing.
Mhm.
Oh my god, you just said what I said. I'm like, yeah, we're both intuitive, so obviously, we're connecting.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I used to actually watch a lot of the interviews when I was trying to figure out my type. And so like sometimes I don't have time to consume, but it's like sometimes when like someone interesting or someone I know does an interview or something, because and then but yeah, I watched a bunch of your interviews with like the people of my type, and then the people of my type but double masculine, and then also my type but TI instead. When I was like trying to make absolutely sure that I'm like whatever type I thought it was, and
right.
then I was like yeah, because when I was like, oh, it kind of seems similar to Dave, and then like I listened to a bunch of the audios, people my exact type, and they're like, they just seemed kind of weird. They weren't talking much, like they weren't sharing it. Like they didn't seem as extroverted as I am, maybe, or like some of them were. Like Carlos is pretty extroverted. But anyway, so but then I listened to a bunch of the double masculines, and it's like, I think because we're the same type and we're experiencing the same things, right? But like I guess maybe it's because they're double masculine, they're more open, overt with how they feel, or like just it's more outwards. They're expressing more, so maybe that's why I related to them more. Because that's why I thought it was double masculine at first. But yeah, I listened to a lot of your interviews, and they helped me out a lot. And yeah, I forgot where I was going with this, but
It's all good, man. I think it's your masculine FI that can relate to those aggression.
oh, I saw your interview with Dave as well in the car. Remember
Yeah,
that one?
yeah, yeah. He was my first person I interviewed. So
Yeah, so you've actually met Dave, which is really interesting. I'd like to meet him one day.
yeah, they used to do meetups. I think they stopped, but I think they might do it again. I don't know. He doesn't live far from me, like three, or I mean, the meetup wasn't far. It's like 3 hours from me. So, um,
Oh,
but
that's pretty far.
I think the way you talk, like we were talking about like the passive consumer, the SE at the bottom.
Mhm.
Maybe you have more like friends that are more like sensory.
Yeah,
Maybe that's why you talk
yeah.
that way. Because like I
Well,
because Dave a lot of his friends are ENFPs, right? So that's why he
mhm,
kind of absorbed a lot of that ism.
mhm,
So you're absorbing something
mhm.
else, I think.
Yeah, yeah. So most of my friends, most people are OE in general, right? In Skids. So most of my friends are the same, or almost. I think literally, I know one other person who might not be a Skid. Yeah. From my close friend group. So like, I have like an ENTP, an ESTP, like an ENFJ, play consume. Like they're all Skids, and they're all FE, which drives me crazy. Because imagine I'm the FI, the group of FEs. I'm constantly feeling like I'm being abused My FI is just being
Yeah.
tossed around like a ball, like no big deal. Like what the? And then when we like have to work on something or get something done, they're the ones who are getting oversensitive. It's like, oh, their
Yeah.
TI, and it's
Exactly.
like it's a horrible dynamic. It just does not work, right? So it's like that's the friend group that I'm in right now. So we've lived together at dorms as well, so it's like high friction. But like generally speaking, a lot of people think I come off more SE like. Like a lot of people typed me when I was like in when I did CRG and ATG and that stuff. A lot of people typed me NITI, lead blast play as well. A lot of really good typists type me NITI. So I do have a very very INFJ like NITI, like TIFE like presence. So maybe it's like because I smile a lot or something, like they're seeing FE. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I do think it does affect you, like what the types of the people you're around. You're gonna act more like, or you're gonna see more like maybe that's theory, my femininity whoosh, disappearing a while ago.
You know what? Based on your conversation we just had, especially you talking about like having FE friends and stuff, I think that's like the biggest bullshit I've ever seen. Like, cause dude, like when you hang out, with the FE people, it's fine. You can do like the whole fun, like let's have fun energy, like sharing energy and stuff, like if you're playing
Mhm.
sports, video games, whatever, right? So that's cool, right? But then when it comes to work, suddenly they're like weird about it. And then
Oh my god,
it's like, hey, how come when we hang out, it's cool, but then when we work, it's not cool? Like what the fuck, right? So it's like
it's horrible.
it's
It's horrible.
hypocrisy, man. I tell you. Uh, yeah, if you have TI and FE, don't be a hypocrite, please. Okay, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
hell,
Imagine like, especially if they're like Demon Blast or Blast, God forbid, and they just don't tell you what they're doing. They don't tell you like what's gonna like they don't. And for me, like I'm an IJ, I'm NI, so I
yeah,
need to know what's gonna happen. I need to know like the TE and so like what are we doing? Like what's the plan? There's no plan, and it's like they don't share it. They don't share their ideas, their work. So it's like
yeah.
I just need to adapt to that. So.
Or maybe they need to adapt to the real world because TI needs to get real sometimes, right? Because the E is the real world, right? So if we're adapting to the FE, which I'm pretty sure you are, you're being polite, you're being socially appropriate, all that stuff. Sometimes you're double decider, so I'm pretty sure you can do some of it. You're still a double decider, man. You know. But the point is like we're doing some of it already. So why can't they do some TE, right? So it just makes a lot of sense. But anyways, we're getting off tangent here. Let's
I
let's
can I can already see how they're gonna run into issues in the future because of that like TI, because it's also like the nature of the country. I like if Egypt was like a type, it would be like an ESTP, 100%. And it's like it's very TIFE. It's like FE show, move them emotionally, and then they'll be like, okay, you're good, you know, your TI is good, whatever. And it's all about like showcasing. It's like a showman thing. It's like a what's a good NI for? It's like I just have to convince them that this is oh wow, the wow factor. When the TIs work on something and then they get the wow factor. So like it's all wow factor here. It's like, get the wow factor and then you'll get the prestige, get the
you get the
whatever.
money, the TI.
Yeah, and for me, it's like yeah, you can get the money, success, whatever, the connection to stamps, whatever. So it's like for me, it's like dude, like you gotta make something good that other people can see are good, and like there can't be any. It's like I'm doing more TI than them because like TI is like oh it has to be really good and deep and well structured, and I'm doing it more because like I'm because they just care about like getting the FE, but it's also because of the culture thing. So say like the same types are in a different country that actually values quality work and stuff like that,
Yeah,
they're gonna do. It also depends on the environment. So yeah.
I think I agree with you. I think Egypt is definitely FETI as a country. It's not
Have you
active.
been to Egypt?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Where?
Cairo, saw the pyramids of Giza in the Egyptian Museum. I went to Luxor, and
Oh, that's where I was born.
I went to Aswan.
I've been to. I was born in Luxor.
In Luxor. Oh, okay. Yeah, Luxor was
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
I like Luxor and Aswan, but I hated Cairo. Cairo was like it's like hell on earth. It's like
Yeah, I agree actually.
the people there are not humans, in my opinion. They're like
The drivers.
no, not everybody. Like there's so much scams there and lying. It's horrible. Like
Oh yeah.
yeah, because I remember when I got to Luxor and Aswan, it was like a lot less. So I was like, okay, those two places are better. But Cairo was definitely hell on
Yeah.
earth. It's hell on earth. It's like the number one place I hated the most. Like I've been to 97.
Yeah.
I've been to 97 countries. Cairo's the number one worst of all the places I've been to.
Number one.
Out of 97
Well,
places I've been to, yeah, Cairo's number one. Yeah. That's the
At least
worst.
they're number one at something. So yeah,
But the pyramids is totally worth it. So I still recommend people to go.
Mm,
Just suffer
yeah. I went there once.
suffer for one day. See the pyramids and the museum, and then get out.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
guys are
I've
building a new capital, right? You have a new capital city that's being built.
I hear that. Yeah, I hear that's happening. Yeah, that is happening. That is happening. I'm not that close,
Where
but
do you
yeah.
live? Are you not in Cairo or?
No, no. I'm in Alexandria, which is the
Oh,
best by far
I
for me.
heard good things about that city.
Yeah, yeah. It's like a oh, it's just so much better. It's just I could never live in Cairo. I went to Cairo once and I stayed there for 3 days or so when I was in middle school. Actually, I went there recently for a trip, but it was like one day and then we came back. So, but yeah, Cairo's horrible. Pollution, crowded. It's too noisy. Like it's too. Even here, it's like Alexandria is like the second biggest city, but it's like
Yeah,
it's a lot better. You got the sea, yeah, the Mediterranean like crosses like the whole city. It's very beautiful. And then Luxor, I lived there ever since I was 10 or 11 until I started university. So yeah, I went to school there. So I've probably been to everywhere there that you've been.
yeah.
So yeah, Luxor, great. I've been to Aswan twice.
Did you see Abu Simbel?
Of course I did. I don't remember which one it was, but I know that I've seen that.
Yeah,
I don't remember which, like the category. Like I remember like if you showed it to me, I'm like, yep, I've been there. If you tell me the name, yep, I've been to that one. But I don't remember that this one had this name and this one had that name. So I've
yeah.
been to these names and these places, but I don't remember which is which. All the
The
connections are like
the
fumbled
sensory is
10
gone.
minutes. Yeah, no, it's like the I can't connect both the sensories. This sensory temple place and this sensory name. And it's like there's 5 names here, 5 places here, and like I don't know which is which, but I've been to this one, that one, if you showed it to me. I have that with streets as well. It's very hard to remember streets. Like, oh, XYZ Street? Probably, but I have no idea if it's called that or I have no idea if this is another. It's if you describe it to me by like something that is in the street, then I'll remember. But it's like not gonna do it like through name
I
or
think
something.
knowing the name of the place are more is more SI, I think. So it's than SE. Like SE still has good memory, but it's not
Mm.
like I think like Dave was showing like SI has better memory than SE, in that sense.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
SE is more fluid, so it has its benefits as well. So like he was
Mm.
showing like a video of this ISTJ person like who kept getting in car accidents because like SI can't like they can't move with a sensory, while the SE people it's like better because like even if it's lower you can at least like weave through the traffic, right?
Mhm,
But the SI cannot like function because it's like
mhm.
SI straight line, kind of like your NI, right? So when there's
Yeah.
like an NE person that destroys your concept, you get pissed off, right?
Mhm,
But it's like
mhm,
similar with like the SE with the SI, right? So it's like you have
mhm.
the SI is well organized, the SE person comes like wrecks it, right? So
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. I think I have that with yeah, I think my mom has SI somewhere feminine. So I think yeah, she definitely has this like I'm just very messy. I'm not organized at all, like in the sensory. It's like
yeah.
if I showed you this room, you'd be horrified. But yeah.
Okay,
So,
okay, dude. Last question, and we'll
so could
wrap the
I?
interview. Yeah, go ahead.
Sure. Okay, I want to ask you. So when you met Dave, he was like really weird in real life, wasn't he?
Yeah, yes. She's super weird for sure. I met Dave and Shan. Shan was actually easier to talk to in person. And
I bet.
Shan is they're both nice. So Shan is super nice in person, and so is Dave. But Dave is a little bit weirder, and he's more playful. Like he was stealing my fries because I was sitting beside him. Yeah, because we were eating at this like I don't know like
Uh,
some Mexican place.
mhm.
Um, and then he was sitting beside me, and then he would like lean over and steal my fries, and then I'm like, what the hell? What's going? It's like SE, I guess. He's doing the SE, right? He's gonna
He's
try.
doing. I'll tell you what he's doing. I should have mentioned this earlier in the SF consume, but like the masculine SF consume, it's like it has to do with like physical comfort as well like the quality of an experience, a physical experience, right?
Yeah,
How good something feels. So like for example, for me, if I'm eating, I have to drink. I have to have water next to me. And if like say for example, when I was at dorms one time, I was like eating and then like the food was kind of getting stuck in my throat and I needed water, right? And so I reached with my hand to grab the water bottle, and then my friend like trolls me, like pushes it further away, and then like that instant I went from 0 to fucking like 100, like so mad, it's like dude, give me that, masculine consume, give me, I need it, I need something in the sensory right now for my own physical well-being or comfort or whatever. So like that will, if I ask someone for something, and or if I just need something in general, I don't even ask a lot of the times. Like I'll take my friend's slipper, pants, whatever. It's like I'm missing something sensory, and it has to do like well-being, comfort, life stuff, and I'll just take it. I'll take their food. Same thing David's doing, right? But David's doing it more control, but like same categories. Like I'll take that, I'll take this, I'll take my friend's slippers, toothpaste, soap, bar soap, whatever, hair cream. I'll just take it. I don't even have to.
That's funny.
The FI people get so mad.
You know what's even more weird than your type? Having
What?
two of your type together. So in that meetup, there was Dave. He's like that's you, Sleep Last Play Consume MF, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there was another guy that I interviewed in my channel that was also there. He's double masculine, Leon.
What's his
Leon?
Oh, Leon. Yeah, I know. I know. Leon.
Yeah. So he was also there. So there's two of them, and they're both being weird, and like they're doing weird shit. Like Leon told Dave he wants to take a photo with him, and you know what he did? Because he's double masculine, he literally like picks up Dave, holds him like Dave's like a girl,
dude.
His hand, and then and if you see Dave, Dave is freaking huge. He's like 6'4",
6'3".
Yeah, he's huge. He's super tall. Shan's super tall too. And then Leon is like he's pretty jacked, right? So he's like there's two NIFI weirdos.
Yeah.
Like this, and I'm like, what the fucking fuck?
What's funny? What's funny is I've done that exact thing. I've carried my friends, and they've carried, or made them, or they want to, they carry me as well. Yeah. And we've taken photos exactly like you described. I actually think I know like 2 Daves, but we're not close friends. But I think I know 2 other Daves.
Yeah, so it's weird when you guys get together. It's even weirder. So if you think you're weird, when there's 2 of you, it's like weird times 100. Like. Yeah.
I know some Daves from the community as well online, but like real life as well. And it's like, it's very weird. We're all very weird. Like we can kind of trick you into thinking we're normal online, but as soon as you meet us, it's like it's all gone. You're
not normal. You are not normal. No.
That's what I tell people. When like they tell me, "Oh, you don't seem that weird." It's like, dude, like you have to meet me. You're not gonna experience it unless you meet me. Whoa, this weirdo. A lot of people tell me I'm weird. My friends say I'm the weirdest person they've met, but it's like not in a bad way. I'm just weird, it's not bad or good. It's just weird.
It's the good kind of weird. It's entertaining weird, like because like for some of the Leon, the Leon guy went up to me, right? Like the first thing he tested me, he's like, "Hey man, do you want to hear me rap?" I'm like, sure. And he starts rapping, and I'm like, "What the fuck is all this like SF peacocking? Like, are you serious? Like, what's going on here?"
Oh man, I'll do that with like I might do that with like I don't rap, so I'm not gonna do that. But it's like physical, like muscles or like with my friends playfully. You know what I mean?
But dude, all the rappers are NIs, right? Like Eminem, Jay-Z.
That's true.
Yeah, so if
maybe
if
career path potentially.
That's your future, man. You have to be either a rapper or like an MMA fighter or like a sport. Yeah, that's your future. You can't do like other stuff.
I was thinking more business oriented, but I'll think about it.
Yeah, because I think the other one's more fulfilling than the business stuff. The business stuff, that's of course you're gonna succeed. You're lead NI. Like there's too many people.
Yeah, exactly. Easy.
Yeah, easy, right? But that's not fulfilling. If you succeed in like music or like fitness, where like the SF is, that's the fulfilling side, Like,
what if I start a business that has to do with the SF, like a workout company or like a fitness company? What do you think about that?
Well, someone did that already, man. Like the Athlete X guy. Have you seen Athlete X?
I hate that guy.
That's you. That's you, man. That's you guys.
No,
he's an INTJ.
No.
No, there you go, man.
We're not the same. He's not related to me.
He's consumer.
I don't associate with him.
He's double masculine. He's an INTJ.
Is he double feminine?
He's double masculine. Jeff Cavalier, the athlete.
No.
I asked Dave. I already asked Dave about him.
So they changed it.
He's
it's
double
not the same as the database.
No, yeah, I asked Dave about him because I'm like, because I watch his videos a lot, and then because I like INTJs, right? And then he's like, oh yeah, he's like double masculine INTJ, I'm like, whoa, what the hell? I'm like, I hope he's not an INTJ, but he is. I'm like, of course he is.
Wait, so then so the type in the database is wrong then? This is interesting.
But that's what Dave told me. I'm just saying what Dave told me.
When was this?
I asked Dave back in the pandemic, so 2020.
Okay.
Did they
Yeah,
change it?
because in the database, he's double feminine, NITE, black, play, sleep. So like, yeah,
Really?
but like a lot of those types, yeah, a
They
lot of
changed
those types are wrong. So I don't know, like yeah, maybe the database is wrong. I don't know. But
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's either been updated or it used to be double masculine. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, he's your.
yeah,
The point is, he's you, man. That's you. That's
no,
your kind, man. He's right there.
no, no,
Fitness.
I hate that guy because, but
That's
it's
gonna be
purely
you.
because it, for me, he's the worst because for me, learning is like really hard and scary, right? When I do consume something, or when I put a source of information, I deem it good enough to be in my consume. I have to deem it good enough first to actually start listening to it. So like the information I get has to be pristine because it's like I guess like subconsciously I know this is like the only information I'm getting. So it has to be 100%. There's no time for experimentation and like oh this might be good. I'm not skimming all the info, right? So when someone has mixed information, that's the worst. That's even worse than having just bad information. Because if you have just bad information, then people like know they find out it's like whatever he's an idiot, right? But if someone has like 80% good and like 20% bad, that's like even more harmful, I think, because like oh people kind of get on board and then they're like they use the 80% or whatever, and then like the 20% will hit them and like it'll harm them in a way that they weren't expecting, right? So that's how I see Jeff Cavalier. It's like he does a lot of basically very basic, very okay, very good stuff, and then like some things he says are like they will just end you. It's like very bad. Like that. There was. You want an example?
Well, I work in fitness, so I know when he's saying shit that's bullshit, and I know when he's saying something really
Yeah.
good. So I
know, but others don't. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, no, the general public don't know. So it can be harmful because he did give some very bad advice. I've seen it. And I'm watching it, I'm like cringing, right? I'm like, this is such bad advice. But like I've also seen him provide like amazing advice. I'm like, this is gold. So yeah, you're on point. Like he does have the good and the bad, and it's misleading if you're not in that industry,
into it. If you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah, there's another fitness guy. I don't know if you've seen it. Knees over toast guy. I don't know if you've heard of it. That channel.
Yeah.
So he looks like an INTJ also. Uh, he's like doing this. He's blasting nonstop. But I think he's more info dom maybe because he's like he gives this reference where he got his information from. He'll actually like he'll cite. So he could be like blast play consume sleep or something. He's definitely cranked up to the max.
I've never looked at him visually to see what he looks like.
He looks like you guys. He looks like you guys. Look at his fucking face. He has like
he kind of does.
Yeah, he's definitely like INTJ. He's tribe above self though, I think. And he looks like you guys, and he's high play.
He looks like double feminine maybe, or audio double feminine. I don't know.
Yeah, either audio or double feminine. One of those. Maybe double feminine, maybe because he's very like flexible too. He's doing all this like wiggly shit, So, but I can't say. But he's definitely like he looks like he's in your
in my category.
Your category, right? You guys. Maybe the info dom version of
We're pretty great.
What's that?
Yeah. We're pretty great, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I have lots of friends that's your type, so obviously, like I like you guys, but like like ENFP and INTJs are always friends, so it's like
man, ENFP.
I can't even avoid you guys. I cannot avoid you guys. Like I cannot escape it. All my fucking clients are INTJs and INFJs. Okay, like when I work in personal training, like I cannot avoid. They just like
the NIs.
Yeah, I can't. My girlfriend's an NI person. I cannot. It's impossible. Like it just happens.
It's NI. It's everywhere. It's
dude, I cannot. It's just like normal. Like if I make a friend, it's like they're probably lead NI. Like I
can't. Why do I have no lead NI friends? All my friends are like SE, I think, or like NE sometimes.
Yeah, NE or SE, exactly. Yeah, because it's kind of weird to hang out with your kind. I've tried making friends with other ENFPs. It never lasts. It like it doesn't work. Unless it's like I guess it's like the opposite sex, then it's okay. But like because you're kind of different still, But yeah. But anyways, last question, man, and we'll wrap the interview. What is your social type?
Well, let's say I'm very likely to save your friends. As for if I'm gonna go off, but what other people in the community are saying, they're saying number 2, right? The thing with social types is, for the longest time, I just could not tell. at the very beginning, I thought this was like at the when they dropped Lin-Manuel Miranda class, who I instantly knew was my type of money. But he's I hate that guy. But he's he as soon as they dropped that class and started talking about socials, like the intro, I was like, okay, I'm probably a three, right? And then they started explaining the socials more. It's like, wait, hold on, I don't relate to this three stuff at all. I'm relating a lot to the two stuff. And then I just kept jumping in two, three, one, three, two, four. And but like with the last live Q&A that they did, that Shan did recently, they basically after that, I'm as sure as I can be on Save Your Friends, right? Because when that checklist, that list of like Save Your Friends anecdotes of like all unprofessional, not taking stuff seriously, not taking care of hygiene or looks or that kind of thing. It's like I just felt like I was being called out, straight up. It's like, oh, this is just they're going straight for my heart right now. It's like
Right.
so it's like I'm and then I've talked to people with similar types to me that are say their ego, and we do not seem the same. They seem a lot more ego like my way, even if they're like sleep less play double sided as well.
Yeah.
So right now the consensus is, and this is almost I want to say it's like definitely true, but I'm taking everything slowly. But I am Save Your Friends, and I don't think I'm a four. So I guess I have to be a two, but I don't really relate to the like specialized last. I feel like I can get to this stuff just fine, if I have the time. And so it's like still trying to understand what exactly is specialized last and what exactly is, responsibility, that kind of
Well,
stuff. But yeah,
it makes sense why you don't relate to the specialized last, because if you look at the way they explain the socials, one is sleep, two is consume, three is blast, and four is play. And your double activated blast, hence double activated specialization. Even though even if you have specialization last, you can use it even if you don't want to use it because of the double act. And in the class video that they did a live class, they said the animals is stronger than the social type, and that's how people get the cognitive dissonance. It's like if you're using blast, but you're actually like a two, which is consume, then there's like that cognitive dissonance happening, right?
Yeah, because it's interesting. I'm seeing like this pattern that doesn't really make sense or would not make sense if it weren't for social type. I'm seeing two things actually. So when I thought I was masculine D, I was like, because at first I thought it was audio, then I thought, oh wait, I'm masculine DE. This makes so much more sense. And I had this eureka moment. Of course, I turned out to be wrong, but I was like, oh, that's why I'm like putting pressure on my friends all the time. That makes so much sense. But it's like, oh wait, if I'm audio, but I'm sponsored, a number two, a bad number two, it's like a chaotic bully is what they say. It's like I'm putting pressure on others to be like better, yada yada. So I used to be like that all the time with my old friend group, right? So like that would make sense if I was a two. And then another part which would make it make sense is I have a willingness to play multiple roles. So the bottleneck is not because it seems for me for the threes, they just don't want to do it, right? For me, the bottleneck is not that I don't want to do it, is that I don't know how to do it. And if I think someone else is going to do it better than me, then I think they should do it. It's not at all connected to, oh, I'm tied to this role. This is my role. I play this role. It's tied to, I know how to do this. And if I'm doing this thing better than someone else, then I should do it. If they're doing it better than me, then they should do it. It's not at all tied to like, oh, I need to do this specific thing, right? So if the responsibility is more of a willingness thing, then that would make sense.
I think a toxic two, not toxic, sorry, like the boy they call twos like they have a hero syndrome, so they're trying to always save everybody. And then it's not like I think the most recent video that they showed is like a two doesn't get successful until they're much older. Is because when they finally give up on their friends, and they're like, you know what,
I've done that.
You already gave up 20, 21.
I've already given up, bro. I don't care.
It's like, you know what? Screw it. It's about me now. Because like I've tried and it doesn't work. It's assuming about me. And then that's when the flex third kicks in, right?
Comes in.
Yeah, exactly. So so that's like the typical story. But
I'm doing it now. I'm using all the information I could get my hands on through this system to just accelerate the process by like 30 years. I do not care. I've already given up like even since before the social card. They just like, dude, you can't help anyone unless they want to be helped. And they need to get to that on their own. You can't even get them there. It's like you can bring a camel with water or whatever, but you can't force it to drink, whatever that freaking thing is, you know?
Well, I mean, I think
So
if you have 10 friends, maybe like one of them would be savable, you know? So
yeah, maybe, but they have to already be in that place, you know, already be like willing to.
that makes
If
sense.
they're
Yeah.
not willing, they're not willing. It's over. You know, you
No,
can't do it. So
totally.
it's like, dude, I used to expend a lot of energy trying to like talk to my friends and like, oh, get into fitness, get into working out, oh, do something productive, stop playing video games, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
I used to play video games with them all the time. Now I quit completely, pretty much. But yeah, it's like, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that. You got like, why are you not doing anything? Why are you just having fun? Why are you just relying on your parents? Like, what the hell? Come on,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. It sounds like two stuff, right?
Yeah, you sound like a two based on how you just ranted there. You're definitely a two.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially
Yeah.
when you said stop relying on your family. That's definitely like definitely a two thing. You know, wanting independence.
Yeah.
Um,
If I can, yeah, definitely want independence. Yeah.
yeah, I have a friend. He's an INTJ, but he's a one. So I can't
Mm,
even call him. I have to like text him first to talk to him because he's like demon
mm,
friends, right? And then I have to schedule a phone call with him,
mm.
or if I want to hang with him, I have to schedule it like ahead of time. You know, it's like because he's just
Whoa.
working all the time and like focusing on working and building his business. And he's not like you. I talk to you. You're pretty like fluid, chill, kind of like that.
Mm,
No, he's like very
mm.
stiff when you talk to him. He's like putting on a facade. He's also play last, right? So play last and like
Uh,
demon friends. So yeah, so there's like a huge difference when you see like the social type for sure. Like
mm,
it's for you, you're very like friendly, fluid. That's definitely like a two thing, right? I mean, even threes are friendly, right? It's like the ones. There's just like a massive difference when you talk to a one. They're like
that's true.
they're more serious. They tend to be more serious, and they tend to be like, you know, like very like they
Mm.
everything. There's like a feeling of artificialness to it. Like everything is like
Yeah,
presented to you,
in
on
a
top.
way to make them look better or good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
To kind of like shine a bigger light. You know, they will never
yeah.
look like a
'Cause
piece
I
of
have a friend like that.
yeah, they will
Yeah.
never leave the house that looks like a piece of shit. They'll always look nice, you know, when they go out, like presentable, right?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah,
Definitely. That's something I have to learn to do as well.
yeah. And twos and fours look like crap, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Pretty much. Still have to fix that. You know,
yeah,
it's rough. Though.
yeah.
It's rough.
All right, man. Let's
It's
wrap up.
interesting, you know. Wait, can I say one thing?
Yeah, yeah. Last thing. Yeah.
I have a friend who's a number one, and you know what he told me once? He's definitely number one. You know what he told me once? I was like sitting outside a shop. I was sitting at the store like on the ground next to the shop and see whatever. And he was like, "Dude, get up! You can't sit down like this here. You look like a homeless person." And like, you're in my life. You're in my group. You can't look like that because you make me look bad.
Yeah.
I was like, what is
Oh, you got
I
called
was
out,
like,
man.
okay, man.
You got called
Yeah,
out.
yeah, I got called out. And it's for him. It's for his ego. It's not even for me. It's like because we're close friends, I have to look good just so he doesn't look bad, you know. You know, I
Yeah,
have to act
but
professional.
even though it's for him, it kind of helps you too because you have demon one. So yeah, just take it.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, yeah, that's what I thought as well. You know, growth mindset. It's like I'm just gonna take it, I'm
yeah,
just gonna
yeah.
use
Just
it.
take it.
That's
Even
all
though
I
it's for
got.
him,
Yeah.
you can derive value from that. So
Just
you
take the
know,
information and yeah, just take the information and use it for your own
yeah,
benefit.
that's funny though. It's
Yeah,
funny.
yeah, yeah.
All right,
Number
man.
one fan.
Thanks for coming out and doing this interview and learning more about you. You know, being the Egyptian Dave. You know, so that's super cool.
It's my new nickname now. It's gonna be my
Yeah.
new nickname.
All right, man. Peace out.
So all right, peace out, man. Thanks for having me.